Broadcasting from Cincinnati, you're listening to the Ringside Reporter podcast. All the news from the world of boxing right here.
Well, I'm talking to you the way I want to talk to you.
Now, here's your host, Eric Lorda.
And we are live. Welcome to the Ringside Reporter Show, where we talk about the latest boxing news. If it's related to boxing, we'll talk about it here. My name is Eric Lorta, and I'm here with my co-host, Joe Habib. We got a great show for you today, and if you want to call in, 570-530-8316. Let's get it started here. The PBC on pay-per-view on Prime. There we go. Caleb Plant versus Jose Armando Resendiz. It's Resendiz, right? It's not Resendiz. I'm used to saying Resendiz, but Resendiz.
I think it's Resendiz. Yeah, that's what they were saying yesterday.
That's what they were saying too. And
if
you look at it,
Abner Maris called him Resendiz. He's Mexican, so he was.
I call him Resendiz then.
Oh,
I call him Resendiz. If Maris says it, we got to go with that.
Got to go with Maris.
There it is. Jose Armando Resendiz upset Caleb Plant by split decision. Scores were 116-112 twice for Resendiz, 115-113 for Plant. I don't care what score you had coming out of this. I don't care who you had the fight for. Plant lost the fight.
Yeah.
He was in there with a guy. Let me tell you this. That guy had no business in the ring with him. All right. You go look at that guy's record. You go see who he's fought. He had no business in the matchmaking here. He had no business in the ring with Plant. And what did you do? What did you do? You looked past him. That's exactly what you did. You can't tell me that guy was better. He wasn't. I'm watching him. And that's on Caleb Plant, man. And even as I'm watching this fight, I'm thinking to myself, Plant's not doing a lot. Resendiz is busier, but he's not doing a whole lot either. He's winning the round, but it wasn't like it was like a whirlwind type of decision. I put it this way. If Resendiz fights again, maybe I'll watch him. He didn't do anything out of the ordinary to say, I got to watch this guy.
He does have
Caleb
a victory.
Plant flushed it. Go ahead.
He does have a victory over Jarrett Hurd, but that was Jarrett Hurd coming back.
Jarrett Hurd was coming back off what?
Yeah, a long layoff and stuff.
Yeah, Jarrett Hurd wasn't that, he had lost quite a bit.
Correct.
Going into that fight.
Hey, listen, I'll tell you one person who overlooked Resendiz. I did, because I basically called the fight a joke on the morning of the fight, because he was a 25-1 underdog.
A minus 750 on the money line.
I have to apologize to him, his family and friends, and his fans.
Apologize to his family.
I apologize because I wrote you off. I looked past you. I was already getting ready to schedule the Plant Charlo fight for the PBC. I overlooked you.
And you called the fight a joke? You called the fight a joke. Shame on you, Beeb.
He saved the card.
Shame on you, Beeb.
Oh,
you're calling the fight a joke.
You're right. I'll take
What's the matter with you?
I'll take my licks. Listen.
Let me tell you what, man. This was unreal. Again, because the fight wasn't a great fight. I mean, even, the fight, with Resendiz, with as much respect as I can give him, which is, I can give him a lot because he beat him.
You weren't impressed at all with what he did.
I wasn't.
Okay, fair
I wasn't. He won the fight. Don't get me. Listen, he won the fight.
Mm-hmm.
And I even scored the fight for him. That being said, again, man, Caleb Plant, I'm looking at him why isn't he doing more? What is he doing?
Can I say something here?
No. All right,
your buddy Breadman, right, was giving him instructions, telling him because
why are you dumping all over Breadman? You take every opportunity you can to dump all over Breadman.
Tough love.
You try to disagree with him on a training method. On a training method, the guy is a professional trainer, and you're I don't agree with that.
Listen, if I give Robbie tough love,
he's always disrespecting fights,
and I give you tough love. See, a person of my level of intelligence, I have to help people out.
The volcano of knowledge erupting all over everyone.
I got to arm people with as much knowledge as I can give them so they can be the best versions of themselves, so they can be successful out there in this world. So getting back to Breadman, right? He's literally telling him in the corner, don't don't fight this fight at a fast pace. Slow it down. Slow it down. Because in an interview this morning that I watched, right, it was obviously done last night after the fight, he's in a scrum with people, and he's basically saying, yeah, I told him to slow it down because just nick these rounds. I said, don't go out there and try to win the rounds big. Just nick them, because he's concerned with Plant's gas tank in the second half. And the blueprint's out there. As much as I like Caleb Plant, the blueprint's out there. David Benavidez, it was a tough fight for the first 6 rounds. I had it even in that fight, first 6 rounds. Just like in this fight, I had it even after the first 6 rounds. But even Bredman was saying during this interview, like after the 5th round, it's a different ball game. So that's why I told him to pace himself, because I didn't want him to empty out the tank in the second. I wanted him to bank some rounds so he would have some cushion, so he wouldn't have to fight so hard in the second half, because he's concerned that this guy fades late. And we see the blueprint, guys who pressure him and he's not able to keep off of him, and he has to move a lot and throw a lot of punches to fight them off him. And he has to deal with that pressure, not only the physical pressure, but the mental pressure of having to keep that guy off him. And all the while, they just keep coming forward. That just wears him down. And, you talk about the jab, right? So he was telling him, just nick these rounds, right? Just, try to keep him on the outside. That's all well and good. And, the jab can be a rhythm breaker, right? But there's ways of how it breaks rhythm. If you're just throwing a pesky flicking jab, you're blinding a guy, you're forcing him to reset, and he has to constantly parry. Okay, that's a way of breaking rhythm. But there's another way of breaking rhythm, which Resendiz did. When you knock someone off rhythm, you push them back. You throw a boom, authoritative jab, not this little flick jab. And Plant just throws a flick jab, even though he changes other way. He doesn't really step in hard like other fighters, like Benavidez and even Resendiz. They were stepping in hard with that jab. So if you're just throwing a flick jab and they're effortlessly coming forward and parrying it, slipping it, rolling it, walking through it, and you're not able to keep them off you, you're not able to freeze them. People talk about Floyd and that he wasn't a huge puncher and he always used to go the distance. But when guys stepped to Floyd, he made them think, because he got their respect. He would snap people's heads back with that right hand. He would snap people's head. Like, you would see him snap people's. Caleb Plant's not snapping people's head back with these punches. These are basically
flick jabs.
Flick jabs. When you use the jab primarily as a defensive weapon, and not as an offensive weapon, you're going to have problems.
Yeah.
You're going to have problems. And then when you're given advice to, don't do too much. I've been watching this sport for like 47 years. I've never heard a trainer say, don't go out there and try don't go out there and try to win the round decisively. Just try to nick the round. What kind of advice is that?
What does that mean, to nick the round? What does that mean?
Just do enough.
Really, like, what is it? How do you know that you're going to nick
exactly?
The round?
You're leaving the round on the table, and you're basically making it a swing round. Who's to say, if you're going out there with the mentality to nick a round, that the judge's not going to swing it the other way? You're intentionally making a round close.
You don't want the close.
Yeah, you want to win rounds decisively. Like, you're intentionally trying to win the round by inches and just squeak it out. How do you know the judge is going to give it to you that way? Like, so again, the advice was horrible. Then I'm listening to him talk about that he had a rough camp. What do you mean he had a rough camp? There's either two things. Camp? There's either two things that could happen, right?
Shouldn't you have a rough camp? Isn't that what camp is for?
But okay, tough camp and rough camp, two different things. Rough camp, I'm thinking you had problems in camp, right? That's what I took away from it. So the only two things can happen when someone says, well, I'll give you my opinion, what I think it means. He doesn't seem to have a weight problem. So I don't think the weight cut was horrible for him. I'm speculating he may have gotten beaten up in sparring. He was getting probably
touched up a little bit, huh?
Overworked in sparring. And that to me, when someone says they had a rough camp, that's what it usually means. Either you had a hell of a time trying to cut the weight to make the weight, or you were getting banged around in sparring. And then he also says, well, he has a rematch clause. If we do the rematch, I got to have carte blanche of this camp, meaning and then he was like elaborating a little bit even further, saying, I didn't like the sparring partners that we had. Again, I love Caleb Plant. right? But the thing is this: you got your wife as your manager, which is fine, and you got your dad involved in your training. You got your dad involved in your training. So Breadman is on the outside looking in here. So if Breadman wants to assert some authority here, he's got to deal with the family. And if you got the family working with you, in your camp, they're gonna overrule what Breadman wants.
We've seen plenty of examples of that.
So, yeah,
you know
so
what I mean?
Tio and his dad, Tio's dad just runs everything. He overrides the managers, the promoters, whatever. So I guess what I'm getting at is Breadman let the cat out the bag. He's pretty much saying that, Caleb Plant is a 5-round fighter. That's what he alluded to. Sort of like Zab Judah. Once people started realizing Zab Judah was kind of, quote unquote, with all due respect, a front runner, is what a lot of people said that about.
Well, first of all, nobody said that. All right, because you're talking about a friend of the show here, Zab Judah. Nobody said that.
Wow, you are really a fluffer
you're also,
today.
let me tell you this.
You are fluffering today. You're fluffing these guys today. You got to stop, man.
Let me tell you this.
You got to stop.
Zab Judah is a member of the Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame.
He's a great
let me
fighter.
tell you, when you mention his name, you put some respect on his name.
I love him. I've been around him before too.
Oh, no, don't try to kiss up to him now.
But once the blueprint is out, they know that you're going to fade late. What are they going to do? They're going to pressure you. And again, Sugar Ray Leonard, I'm not trying to make this comparison, but I'm just trying to use an analogy here, right? Sugar Ray Leonard, Floyd Mayweather, these were guys who were boxers.
Yeah.
But they hit hard enough to get your attention. If
Pernell Whitaker hits you hard enough to get your attention.
Yeah. If you're fighting a big, strong, aggressive pressure fighter, and your weapon of choice is the flick jab, and he's walking through it, slipping it, knocking it down effortlessly as he's coming forward, and even though you're moving it around, you're still throwing it in the same fashion all the time. Like there's nothing that's saying there's danger on the way in here.
Yeah,
it's, you know what I mean.
Yeah,
and then you're being told to nick rounds. I mean,
that's bad advice. That's horrible advice. I'm
sorry.
Unless you think
I've never in my life,
never.
Like I was watching the Triple G fights today.
Yeah.
On HBO WB channel, and both trainers, Reynoso and what's his name there? The guy that trained Golovkin. Why am I drawing a blank here?
The tall
Abel Sanchez.
Abel Sanchez. Yeah.
I can't believe I drew a blank. So both of them during the fight, listening to their instructions, they're saying, go out there and win these rounds decisively. You got to step to it. They're world-class trainers don't tell you in the championship rounds or in any round, just go out there and nick it. Do enough to get by in the round.
I think
who the fuck gives instructions like that? And then shout out to Maestro. I don't know if this is true. Maestro said he heard Breadman say in the corner, hit him low if you have to. Is that what you're going to do? You're going to resort to that? Hitting people in the nuts? What kind of instructions is that?
Let me tell you what. Listen, man, if you're getting, there's all different ways to turn a fight, man, and they will look for any advantage possible. I don't hate it. I don't hate the advice.
Okay.
I don't hate it, man.
Okay.
I don't.
But that means if you have to resort to that means you're in trouble.
That means you're losing the fight, though.
I mean,
so there should be no close right. You got to go out there and change something up.
And then he's sitting there saying, I love you, man. I love you, man. I can never lie to you. I can never lie to you. We need this round. After every round, we really need this round. We really need, they knew. Let's get it down. They knew they were behind the whole fight. Oh, yeah. HLD said, yes, Coach Breadman said that in the ninth. Okay, thank you.
I was still reading this comment. I didn't really get to the next one yet. I was still big Texan. Thank you so much. He said, hello, Beeb. You look great, and gives you a big kiss. That's so nice. Thank you.
Let's get it down. I went to the.
Why are you such in a hurry?
I had a great day today. I went to the parlor and everything today. You're ruining it. So Sundays is the day I go. But again, there was desperation in that corner, and in the Resendiz corner there was not.
I don't know that. I will tell you this: I don't know that Breadman's the problem in Caleb Plant's corner. He's not. I think.
I'm not blaming him for the performance. I just don't like the instructions.
No. I think he had to, what he worked, maybe it might have been what he had to work with too. Because like you said, it doesn't sound like he was prominent in that camp. He didn't like the sparring partners. He didn't like, you know, so who's making those decisions? You know what I mean? So you got to wonder that.
And then Plant said that after the fights, people were asking him, why weren't you throwing the right hand? There was something wrong with it. And he said that he had a bruised right hand. And then they asked Breadman, did you know about that? Did that happen in camp? Did that happen during the fight? And he says, well, I didn't hear anything about that in camp. He was throwing the right hand and he was hitting the pad with power and authority. So again, you guys
got to be on the same, but they're not on the same page.
Yeah, they're not on the same page right now. They're not
got to be on the same page.
Like Emmanuel Stewart, right? I got in an argument with someone one day, right? Because they were like, we were talking about when Chavez, remember when Freddie Roach was training Chavez? And they did that HBO 24/7. They used to have that show. Yeah. And then Chavez is in his living room with his underwear on, eating. So
Chavez Senior or Chavez Junior, not
Junior. Yeah, Junior. And he was eating like Fruit Loops or some type.
Yeah, he was in his underwear eating Fruit Loops.
And he's training in his living room, sparring and stuff like shadow boxing in his living room. Meanwhile, he's coming to the gym like a half hour, 45 minutes late every day. And I simply said, Emmanuel Stewart would never allow that. He would walk away.
No.
He would walk out of that camp. He would walk out of that camp. That's just the way he was. You either did it his way or he walked the fuck out of the camp. Mm-hmm. Simple and plain. Like he would tell you in the corner. Like we've seen him yell at Jermaine Taylor, Vladimir Klitschko in the corner. Like
Lennox Lewis.
Lennox Lewis. Go out there, go fucking, like dropping F-bombs everywhere. Like he didn't fuck around. So I guess the point I'm trying to make is Freddie Roach tolerated all that bullshit because he was getting a check, right? Hall of Fame trainer, don't get me wrong. But I'll just tell you this. You need someone like Emmanuel Stewart to tell you the truth. And if you're not going to go along with the plan, he's going to walk the fuck out of there. So if you didn't like how that camp was going and you stayed, then that's on you. And then he was talking about Karan Davis, and he's like, oh, yeah, it's tough for him, this and that. I help him. A lot of people don't know this. I help him pay his bills. Bro, why are you putting that shit out there?
Why would you say that?
Why would you say something like that? This is too much information. If you're going to help someone out financially, you never put a man's financial problems out there on blast, especially if you say he's like a friend, you treat him like a son. So that was just a bad look all around, man. Yeah, bad look all around.
I agree. Yeah, that's not good. Caleb Plant, like, what do you got to rematch this guy now? Maybe
there's a rematch clause.
I mean, they're
probably going to fight again.
Pull that rematch clause or whatever.
Yeah.
Because listen, I don't want to see him fight Jermall Charlo, and we'll talk about that fight in a second. But like, I don't want to see him fight Jermall Charlo. And what do I want to see? Resendiz Plant 2? Really? Nobody wants to see that. That was on I tell you what, this was a showcase fight. Yeah. They put it on a silver platter. They gave it to him, and he screwed it up.
He dropped the ball. That's what Jermall said. He said he dropped the ball. He messed up the bag.
He messed up the bag. That's right. He messed up the bag.
I'll be honest with you. I actually enjoyed the fight. I thought Resendiz saved the card.
I thought Resendiz. I knew the first two rounds. I obviously Plant won the first two easily. I thought.
Yeah, I thought
you could make a case he might have won the first four. But I gave it. I think I had it. I think I gave him 3 of the first 4. But
I had it even after 6.
Yeah.
But 7 through 12. I think I only gave Plant one. I only gave Plant 1 round. You could argue he got shut out the last 6 rounds.
Resendiz looked he looked just excited to be there. He came out, he was smiling, and that's one thing I didn't like either. He couldn't come out smiling.
You hate that.
I hate that.
You don't even like when the legend. You don't even like when the legend Pacquiao does it.
No, I hate it. I hate that with a passion, because you're getting ready to tear somebody's head off. I don't want to see you smiling coming to the ring. I don't want to see you smiling in the ring. I don't want to see any of it. I want to see some intensity in there.
It's like that lady, Karen Reed. She's on trial for her life in a murder case. And she's sitting in the courtroom smiling.
How's she doing, by the way? Is she going to lose that case? They say the prosecution got a lot more evidence, or they're doing better anyway.
I don't know, man. It's tough, man. She may get caught on the manslaughter charge this time. I don't know.
Well, they had that last time, didn't they? Didn't they have the manslaughter?
That's where they deadlocked on the manslaughter charge. That's where they had. That's where they couldn't figure it out.
Gotcha. Yeah. I thought the same thing as Pocket. He said at round 3, he said, I thought the fight was a joke. He said Plant is getting KO'd in the 4th round. I was wrong. Resendiz smiled and whooped the crap out of Plant, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, I mean, like I said, man, for those first 2 rounds, he was killing him with that jab. And he was just quicker. He was just, you're like, this is a mismatch. This is what we all thought.
He was getting off first. But once
Resendiz slowed down.
Once Resendiz said, you know what? This jab's really not, it's not a problem. I can deal with this jab. Once he started saying to himself, you know what?
What was the round where he wobbled Plant? Because he wobbled him in that
round. Round 5 is where the fight really started turning.
I thought it was in round 7 where he wobbled. It was 7 or 8.
Oh yeah, I think it was round 7 or 8. He wobbled it bad.
Yeah, he didn't look good.
And he was throwing this right hand, but it was kind of like a short looping shot. It was almost like a sidearm punch. He was just like coming from the side and banging him like from the side, you know?
Yeah.
It was coming from a really unorthodox. It was Marcos Maidana-esque, if you will, the way he was throwing that right hand. But it was a lot.
He didn't have Marcos Maidana power though.
No. He did buzz Plant, you know. And
he did buzz him a couple times, I thought.
Here's another thing Breadman said, like, they were asking him, because he sounded like he was very concerned about Plant's career moving forward. And he said, you know, he still looked quick, the reflexes are still there, but it's just the way he was taking the punches. He's not taking the punches like he used to, and now his face is getting all banged up now.
I tell you what, I don't even think it was that. I don't even think it was that, because he was still fast. He still looked like
you just think he overlooked him.
I think he overlooked him. I really do.
Okay.
And I just think that I think his head wasn't in it.
You know.
Now here's the caveat.
Go ahead.
Can you get your head back in it? You know what I mean? I don't know, because that's a bigger issue.
When I did that show with Maestro in the morning on Saturday, yesterday, the big thing was this. Didn't they already have the tune-up 5 months ago? They both fought 5 months ago, and they both had their tune-up fights. Why in the hell did you need another tune-up? Why didn't they just...
Charlo didn't. What was the last time Charlo fought? It was like 3 years ago or something
No. He fought Jose Benavidez Jr. Remember? He came back.
Right.
Remember that fight? It was such an uneventful fight that you obviously forgot about it, which is understandable. It was
when was it? 2023? No, it was 2023.
No, it was last year.
No, it wasn't. It was 2023. It was November. Sure? I'm looking at it right now. November 25th, 2023.
The Jose Benavidez fight?
Yep. That was the last time he was in the ring. So it had almost been 2 years. Almost 2 years.
Was that was in 23, the fight?
Yeah.
Why did I think that was in 24?
Frank Yeager, thank you so much. He said, you guys should do a compilation video of all the times Big Texas sang to Beeb. I couldn't agree more.
You're right, Eric. So that was a long...
Always right.
Yeah, so Plant had the fight.
That's why Beeb Industries pays me.
Plant had the fight 5 months ago, but okay, so that's why. Okay.
Yeah. And I thought Plant looked okay in the last fight. But again, it's about getting your head in the fight. And it's like, the old adage, it's hard to get up and train when you're wearing silk pajamas. I think Marvin Hagler coined that. And he's right. Plant's got plenty of money. Plant's got all the stuff. Is your head in it to where you can really compete on this against guys like this who are hungry, who want this? Yeah. Clearly he could have outclassed them all every minute of every round, but he didn't. You know what I mean?
But do you think that maybe, as Breadman said, he's getting older. He's not as durable as he once was.
For sure. For sure. He's got absolutely.
And he's always had.
Breadman's got a point there.
He's always had stamina issues down the stretch. Could that be exacerbated by the miles on the clock as well as the age? So moving forward, I think
he's having another baby. Yeah, he's having another baby.
Yeah, she's pregnant again. Yeah, that's what I heard.
Yeah. So I mean, he's got like a lot of stuff outside of boxing, great stuff that he wants to focus on and everything. And it's hard to make that cut and come back here and grind it out.
Yeah. So I guess it's understandable that because Charlo was off 18 months that he.
Hey, Sue Sam, come on, an age excuse. Listen, it's not even. Listen, it's a real excuse, man. First of all, it's a real excuse. I mean,
why Jesus? You think you're the only
Jesus gets 50? You call me.
You think you can beat Father Time? Trust me, you can't. Okay, I'll be 56 this year. when I go to the gym, I wake up the next morning, I'm like, okay, what the fuck happened to me? Did I get hit by a truck? Because your body just doesn't recover the same way.
I was hitting the Cobra bag downstairs the other day, just doing rounds with it, and I did about 6 rounds on it. My shoulders were killing me the next morning. I was like, oh my God. I'm so out of shape. Yeah, Father Time rules, man. That's the way it is.
Caleb Plant is not 32. He's like 35, bro. How old is Caleb Plant? Let's take a look.
Let me look it up. Let's see here. 32. He's 32.
He is 32. I apologize. All right.
Yeah, he's 32. It's still anytime, and I used to say this all the time. Anytime you're over the age of 30 and you step in the ring, anything, you can get old overnight. When you cross that 30 threshold and you're boxing or you're in MMA, you can get old overnight.
Yeah. I guess 32 really isn't old. It's like he's an
old man. He's old.
Maybe he's old in boxing years.
He's old in boxing years. Old. That's what I'm telling you, man. In boxing years, he's old.
Well, you have to ask yourself this question too. Thanks for the correction, Jesus, first of all. But
he's 32. He's 32 with 35 years of experience.
Here's the thing. When you've had tough fights against Benavidez and Canelo, in the way
he's had a lot of tough fights.
Like
he's
that
had a lot of tough
Benavidez
fights, man.
And I'm gonna attack your friend again.
Who?
Your friend Bredman.
Oh, look!
When you go back and you watch,
show, and you're sitting
let
there.
Let me ask you your honest opinion. You watched that Plant Benavidez fight, right? And you saw in the second half of that fight, he was getting beat pillar to post.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Don't you think it would have been a good idea to maybe pull him out of there, maybe in round 9 or 10, because he was getting whacked around that bad?
I mean,
he was getting like really banged up in there. Like it looked like the ref should have stopped it. I've seen less beat like LaManna wasn't getting his beat up as bad as Plant was, and they stopped that fight.
LaManna was getting it handed to him, son. LaManna went down 3 times in 3 rounds. Yeah, he was getting it handed to him.
But did you see Plant in that Benavidez fight get knocked all around the ring in the second half of that fight? He was getting banged up.
I did. I don't know that it warranted a stoppage. I don't know. Because he was behind on the score. What was the final? Because he lost a unanimous decision.
He lost 117, 111, 116, 112, and 115. There's no way he was winning.
16 and 112. That's 8-4, son.
I guess my point is this: by allowing that fight to go to go to the end, did he take a lot of unnecessary punishment? That those are miles on the clock. Those are years.
Sure.
That's time.
Hindsight being 2020. Yeah.
That's what I'm trying to. I was watching that fight. He literally had the towel in his hand. He said it. He had the towel in his hand, but he just didn't want to throw it. And the reason why
that was a tough fight, man. That was a tough fight for Plant. It really was.
Him and David Benavidez's dad were kind of going back and forth during the buildup, and it's like he didn't want to give Benavidez the satisfaction of saying that he stopped Plant. And I don't know, man. I would have stopped that fight in round 9. I would have stopped that fight.
You can't do stuff like that, man. You can't. You know.
Yeah, he took
stuff like that.
He took a lot of punishment in that Benavidez fight, more so than he did in the Canelo fight, in my opinion. So,
Pocket says that he thought he took too much abuse against McCumbee as well.
Yeah, he's starting to get banged up. Like Breadman said, his face is all busted up. Yeah. So.
All right, well, let's talk about the showstopper here. And it wasn't Resendiz, to me anyway, it wasn't Resendiz. It was Jermall Charlo here. He fought Thomas Cornflake LaManna. That's the best nickname ever, Cornflake.
Yeah.
Jermall Charlo understood the assignment last night, and he buzzed Cornflake throughout, man. I tell you what, it was LaManna was down in rounds 3, 4, 5. The fight was stopped at the end of the 5th round. Charlo looked good last night, man. He looked like he hadn't been away at all. There was no ring rust there. He looked amazing. And he didn't take the opportunity lightly, man. He knew this fight led to something else, and he didn't take it. He wasn't taking Cornflake lightly, man. He went out there and he did what he was supposed to do. And I'll be honest with you, man. I think Charlo needs to go after bigger and better fights than Caleb Plant right now. Maybe in the future you want to have the Plant fight, maybe, whatever, you know. But Charlo, of these two, right now, Charlo is the more marketable guy. I want to tune in to see Charlo fight because you didn't think he looked good last night.
I'm just going to be honest.
It.
I'm going to be honest with you.
Stop it.
It's almost impossible for him not to look good because I like Thomas LaManna. I do. He's a nice guy, right?
Yeah.
But there's levels to this. There
was levels to the Resendiz too. Resendiz, we both agreed. Resendiz had no business in that ring last night.
To your point, Resendiz was a 25-1 underdog. LaManna was only a 14-1. He was a 14-1 underdog.
Yeah.
I understand. I get it. But this is the same Thomas LaManna that got knocked out in one round by a 39-year-old Irislandi Lara 4 years ago.
Wasn't Lara like loading his gloves or something like that? Or he had like, you doing something like that?
I'm glad that Charlo's back.
Saying,
I'm glad Charlo's back. He's got the win.
Cornflake, son.
But we gotta be realistic about who he is in there with. I'm not ready to jump up and down just yet.
Oh, that's cold-blooded, man.
Fought Jose Benavidez his last fight. Now he's fighting Thomas LaManna. Again,
Thomas LaManna. Cornflake. We heard of Cornflake. You didn't hear Resendiz. You didn't know who Resendiz was. I mean, we know who he was, but we knew he wasn't that. We knew it was a.
Well, Cornflake arguably does have a better resume. He's been in there with.
Of course he does.
Yeah, he's been in there with a lot of
champions.
He's been in there with former champions.
Come on,
before.
man.
He's in there with Lara. He's been in there with the guys before.
And that Lara fight, that ref, I thought the ref could have done a better job in that fight. That's all I'm saying. I thought the Cornflake had the up there. Slept. I'm just saying. He got slept.
He was out cold. They had to revive him.
Head off the campus.
They had to revive him. Knocked out with one punch.
Listen, man. If you look like ring right, all things being equal, I thought he looked pretty good. And granted, it was a show. Listen, it was a showcase fight.
There's nothing bad to say. Yeah, there's nothing bad to say about it. I'm just not gonna get. I'm not gonna get excited about that win.
Oh, that's
sorry.
Oh, look, that's cold-blooded, man.
I gotta be honest. I have
just
to tell you
dumping all over Charlo for no reason, too. No reason at all.
Listen, the listeners expect honesty.
Listen, they're not getting it out of you today. I'll tell you that.
They don't want this fluff job that you're presenting today.
Oh,
when you're stroking these fighters. I don't know why, but whatever it is, whatever floats your boat.
Listen, I'm gonna take the Beeb Force 1. I'm gonna take that, and I'll tell you what. Come to Boston.
From Boston.
Both our teams are out of the NBA. Indiana's the only one in it now. Indiana and OKC.
I know. Imagine if Indiana wins it.
They want like 300. What was it? $300 bucks. I was looking for tickets for the Knicks games, right? They wanted. It was like $3-something for like upper deck seats. And listen, I've been to Conseco or whatever it is now, and they have really good seats there. They're all pretty good. But like, come on, man, $3-something, $350 for that? No, I can't even imagine what it is for the finals now.
Yeah, those are expensive seats, man.
Yeah,
and even
you remember when it was in Boston? What was it last year when it was in Boston? Remember I told you that one game on the courtside seat was $50,000. $50,000, man.
That's crazy.
It's crazy.
Who's going to afford that?
Yonli Hernandez versus Kyron Davis was also on that undercard. Hernandez beat Davis unanimous 100-89 on all three cards. All three cards. On DAZN, Beck the Bully, Melikuziev versus Darius Fulgham. Beck the Bully wins unanimous decision 114-112 on all cards, Beeb. That's different, man. That's different.
That's right.
All right, let's bring Robert on here. Oh, stop it. What's the matter with you? Robert, you're live.
What's up, Bobby?
Hello, guys. How are you?
How's it going, Bobby?
Not much.
Do you have anything for us here?
I mean, what's up, man? When we go to you, you need to just fire, right? Fire. You need to just go. You don't need to just stumble your way out of the starting block. You need to just take off. Please.
Okay. I was very disappointed in the way Plant looked. And if I didn't know he was 32, I would say he's almost done.
Wow.
What's up with the ageism?
No, he looked terrible last night. And Joe, I agree with you. I've been watching boxing for over 50 years, and I've never heard a trainer say a lot of the stuff that Stephen Edwards said last night. I could not believe some of that stuff.
Did he say that? Did he say hit him low?
Eric is condoning him. Eric is condoning him, saying hit him low if you have to.
I'm just saying that stuff
All right?
goes on.
Yeah.
This was
I'm
a guy
just
that used to
saying it goes
coach.
on.
He used to coach kids soccer. He must have. Johnny, sweep the leg. Sweep the leg.
Undefeated, son.
Eric.
We had 7 undefeated seasons.
Hey, Eric, I know. Eric,
Sweep the
I know
leg,
it goes on,
Antonio.
I know
These
that
kids
kind of
ain't
stuff
walking
goes
off
on,
this
but
field. What are you going on about? What's going on?
I know that kind of stuff goes on, Eric, but I don't think a trainer wants it put on a hot microphone where he's telling the guy after the 9th round, hey, you better start hitting him low.
I mean,
That's a good point, Robbie.
They should have been mic'd up then.
Well, all of these fights now are pretty much mic'd up when you go to the corner. I mean, that's what the networks, they like that. But a trainer shouldn't say that kind of stuff when he knows he's got a microphone on.
Robbie, can I say something? Can I say something, Robbie?
Go ahead.
Even if you're not mic'd up, you shouldn't be telling people to go out
Right,
there.
you shouldn't be telling them. Yeah,
You know
it's not a good idea to say that
It's
stuff
not a
anyway.
good idea to say that at all. That should be part of the game plan. You get your fighter disqualified.
But no, that Becker Bully fight with Fulgham, that was the best fight of the weekend, man.
Come on.
Come on.
That was
Resendiz. You don't want to give Resendiz his props here?
You know what? Yeah.
Well, hey, he won the fight, but I agree with Eric. There's levels to this game, and he took him lightly. He looked past him. That's exactly what he did.
Convenient. I agree with Eric.
Yep. Hey, Joe, I normally agree with you a lot more than I agree with him. So
don't try to rein it in now, all right?
Yeah.
All right, Robert, we're going to get running here, man. We got a few callers, so let me put you back on the queue. We'll bring you back on.
Get him out of here, man.
Okay.
You say get him out of here. What's the matter with you?
Get rid of him. Give him the hook.
How dare you? 914, you're live.
Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Ross from New York.
Hey, what's going on, man?
What's going on? What's going on, guys?
What'd you think of Plant?
Honestly, I think he's getting a little bit of unfair criticism. There's obviously I'm surprised that he didn't get the nod, but if you match up all the little things that probably went wrong, it makes sense. I mean, and I'll try to align this to some of the pure boxers that we currently have in the sport, kind of like the Shakur and the Devin Haney's. Whenever you match up a guy that's a pure boxer like Plant, but doesn't really pack a punch to kind of stop someone on his track, just like B was saying with Floyd, it's a nightmare of a matchup with one of those quote unquote Mexican style fighters that come forward, pressure you, have power, have a good chin. It's just a nightmare. And you add the fact that Plant has had 5 fights since 2021, which that's my main criticism. This is, I wouldn't necessarily blame this all on Plant. This is more the PBC not having enough schedules where they can't get these fighters any fights. Like there's very difficult for you to look sharp when you're fighting once a year, especially with this type of aggressive style. And the guy's 32. He's had a bunch of wars already. But it is what it is. It's boxing. But also we have to give the PBC some criticism because they were over marinating this Charlo versus Plant the same way that Turkey was trying to do with Ryan Garcia and Devin. Like, just do the damn matchup right away. Like, you don't have to wait around and doing, tune-up fights and all this. Like, get right. The fans just want that fight. For you guys to actually try to plan ahead, like this is some movie script, like you're setting up yourself for failure. So right. That's on them, honestly. It is what it is. It is boxing. But at the end of the day, like Plant is 32, but he is the old 32. That the guy's taking some punishment, and at the end of the day, it's not like he's had the track record having a really good a gas tank in the later round. So, that those are my 2 cents on that. I don't know what you guys think.
There you go. All right, Ralph, we're going to get moving, man. Thank you so much. Appreciate the call. He's always got good stuff. He's always got good takes, doesn't he?
I think
he always nails it.
That's right.
He's always got good stuff. What are you going to do? 410, Jerry from Baltimore. He called us trans earlier, Beeb. Beeb, he called us trans.
I don't even know where to start with you. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths. I'm going to take a couple deep breaths before school's in session.
Oh, that's cool.
First off, you Homo sapien, you're a casual, bro. Straight up casual. You're going to sit there and say that Resendiz had no. You're going to say that Resendiz had no business in the ring with Caleb.
He didn't. Go look at his record. Go look at his record. Go look at his resume. He had no business.
Shut your mouth.
None.
Even after the fact, Resendiz got in there and beat Plant convincingly.
Even after that, yes.
What you are is a guy, like, because Resendiz hadn't gotten hype or promotion.
Sure.
You don't know how to analyze the fighter, so you go with what the fighter who had the
you
hype
think they
and
picked the
promotion.
matchup. So they picked a tough matchup for Plant, right? So that he can win this fight and go on and they're, because Resendiz is very marketable, right? That's why they put him in there. Who's casual now? Huh?
Yeah, what's your point? I don't argue that at all.
The point is he shouldn't have been in there. That was the point.
What Jerry is trying to say is
that was very.
This was matchmaking gone wrong.
Tell you what I'm trying to say. B.
This was matchmaking gone wrong. That's what I've been saying. That's why he shouldn't have been in there.
Hey,
what's the matter?
That's boxing. That's boxing, bro. Look at the history of boxing. Boxing is a sport of upsets. You can't take nobody lightly, and Caleb Plant did not take him lightly. That's not why he lost.
Caleb
Plant, not because he thought, I'm just going to walk over this guy. He had sparred with him by his own admission. And Caleb Plant knows that win, lose, or draw, what his performance reflects is where his career will go. There is no taking. That's some more casual bullshit. These fighters don't take the other fighters lightly.
They do.
Might. The fans
they
might.
Clearly take them lightly. What are you talking about? Oh, stop.
Did you see the condition Caleb Plant was in? Do you think he got himself in that condition?
I wasn't peeping him out like that, man.
Well, that's because you don't know what you're looking at.
You can stare at him all you want. I mean, hey, did you see his abs? Yeah, let's do that.
A casual. You see, you do it. I don't do it. You prove yourself to be a casual.
One man, I'm just saying.
Even after the fact, the guy goes in there and beats him convincingly, you're saying he didn't belong. Well, clearly he did belong in the ring with him. Clearly. You see? Caleb Plant, and here's another thing. His trainer was giving him excellent advice. Redman, whatever the fuck his name is. He was actually being honest with him, which is rare. He was telling him, you're losing the fight. You got to do something. The reason he told him to nick the rounds is because Plant couldn't outfight Resendiz.
That's what I try to tell B, man. He was
losing those exchanges out trying to outfight him. So his coach was trying to tell him, look, just outbox him, man. Move a little bit, stick move, win this fight, look good in the next one. You're not outfighting this guy. Whether his hand was injured, whatever the case, he wasn't able to outfight Resendiz. But Caleb Plant, hey, he likes to fight. He comes to fight. I got to give him props for that. I've never really seen him in a boring fight. Also, I'm going to add, for people who keep talking about he's been in all these punishing fights. No, he has not. He's been in one punishing fight against Benavidez. The Canelo fight, he was pretty much unscathed up until he got stopped. I mean, he took a little few punches, but it wasn't like it was some brutal war. The last 6 rounds of the Benavidez fight, yeah, he took a pretty good pounding. But other than that, this guy hasn't had some career of long, hard fights. He lost for the same reason that he said himself he lost. I just wasn't the better man tonight. And I chalk it up to Resendiz about to be a father. If you ever seen the movie Cinderella Man, you can see, and it's obvious if you know about boxing, that fighters have different levels of motivation. And sometimes, like the birth of a new son.
I don't watch Disney movies.
Well, they're going to be a lot more motivated.
Caleb Plant's having a child too.
Shit, I'm trying to school you on there.
Caleb Plant's having a child too. So, Jerry, let me ask you this. Even though Caleb Plant's having a second child, it's not the same as having a first child. Is that what you're saying?
Well, probably. Plus, add to the fact that Caleb Plant's made good money in his career already, and this guy hasn't. You see, so the simple what you need to take from a dweeb is this: fighters are human. They have different levels of motivation. 4 fights ago, this guy may have been single, loses the fight, and says, "Man, I'm just going to go to the bar. I got a decent little purse, not really care too much." Now, right here and now, he's about to be a dad of a son, right? And nothing better for him than to win this fight and get his life changed. I was happy for him. I don't dislike Caleb Plant. I like Caleb Plant. Caleb Plant has been a little overrated. That's the reality of it. You see, and that's the difference between watching a fight where one guy has gotten promotion and hype and another guy is unheralded. That don't mean you shouldn't you got to look at the fighter. A lot of guys, I heard several people saying Resendiz was a live dog in that fight. And he wound up winning the fight, and he looked like he was 2 weight classes smaller than Plant. He doesn't look like a real super middleweight to me. Next, let me go to Charlo. Charlo.
All right, quickly, because we got to run. Go ahead.
Well, he looked reasonably well for a guy that's been out for 18 months. He's been out for all the wrong reasons. So what can you expect? His opponent wasn't that good, but he did his job. I wouldn't say he looked sensational. No, he certainly wasn't sensational, but he was effective. And, okay, fine, well and good. Where Plant goes from here, I don't know. He probably needs to right the wrong that happened last night before there's any more talk about him and Charlo.
Yeah, there shouldn't be any more. There shouldn't be any more talk of him and Charlo. Let me tell you that. I thought Charlo looked good. All right, Jerry, we're gonna run.
Maybe
man.
not right now. Maybe not right now. But listen, lastly, Zab Judah lost to Carlos Baldomir prior to fighting Mayweather. That fight was already made. They went ahead and had it, and they put on a. It
was a good fight.
A really good fight.
It was a very good
fight. Even though Judah had lost to Baldomir, him and Charlo can and should still fight. But first, he's got to go back and show that he's better than Resendiz, and that's what I think.
There you go. There you go.
All right,
Jerry, we're gonna get running. He was killing you, B.
He schooled you tonight.
Schooling you.
And you know what? I got to give him credit. That was a great life lessons type speech he made.
Was killing you, son.
He destroyed you, man. He called you a casual.
I almost ran in there. I almost had to stop it. I was like, wait. And I was like, I treated you like Breadman treated Plant. I just let him go on. I was like, all right, let him finish a fight.
I give you the smelling salts, man. He knocked you out tonight. He schooled you, man. He took you to school.
King KO says Jermall Charlo. Jermall's another trash PBC fighter. You guys are so, oh gosh. And yeah, Zab Judah lost to Baldomir. But I still thought Zab Judah won that fight because I tell you what, I thought that Zab Judah, I thought the referee, I'm just saying. Hall of Famer Zab Judah, by the way. Ohio Hall of Famer Zab Judah, by the way. 8:05, you're live.
Hey guys, what's up? Just quickly.
Hi Nacho, how are you?
Plan.
You know what? You want to say hi? How's it going? We haven't talked to you in a long time. You just roll right in, no pleasantries or anything.
You get on him when he says hi and everything like that. Babe. When he does it, and then when he gets right to it. Yeah,
well, you can't have it both ways. I don't like when he comes in here when he's on the plate.
You can't have it both ways.
Can't have it both ways, son.
Come on.
Can you at least say hi to me? Can you ask me how I'm doing?
No. We don't get. We know how you're doing. Don't worry about it.
We don't have time for that.
I'm doing fine, Nacho. By the way, I'm just saying.
Yeah. All right, Eric. Just real quick. Plant. The problem with him is that since he's not a guy who's a big puncher or has power in his hands, he has to be consistently active in order to be sharp. And when you're not, this is what happens. You get a guy like Resendiz who is active and he's sharp, and he goes in there and just beats you up. And Plant got beat up last night. But I will bring up one thing that obviously nobody is bringing up. Why was Harvey Dock literally acting like he was Caleb Plant's manager in that fight last night?
Yeah,
it was so unbelievable.
I'm not a big fan of him. I'm not a big fan of him at all.
Oh, he's an A-side. He's an A-side apologist. Is what he is.
Yeah, it was pathetic how badly he was trying to keep Plant in that fight. It was like, you got to be kidding me.
Television, screaming at it. Let him fight. Leave him alone. And Plant was leaning in with his
Yeah.
head. Plant was leaning in with his head.
Yeah, and he was punching him low, and he was being dirty, and
Bayless
Dog
Jr.
never said anything.
Yep.
I think he's more like Richard Steele, Eric, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
He's more like that guy. But, yeah, I mean, at this point, unless Plant is going to be on a regular schedule, he's just going to get worse as time goes along because guys who get older don't get sharper by fighting less.
No.
So at this point, unless he's not going to fight very often, this is what you're going to see moving forward. With the other fight, I'm sorry, but Cornflake has got to be one of the absolute worst opponents that these guys can actually put out there.
You mean because he can actually win the fight?
Literally, no, because he's a walking punching bag, Eric. That's why.
That's cold.
That guy had no.
You put
that guy had no head movement. No, actually. Yeah, you know what I called him? I called him Captain. I called him Captain Crunch, not Cornflake.
That's so disrespectful.
Whoa!
So disrespectful to my man Cornflake, man.
Going a little bit extra with that one, Nacho.
That's cold-blooded.
Wow.
Hey, Cornflake is a professional. Cornflake's a professional fighter, but he's not on that level, and he doesn't belong on that level. And he got beat up last night for no reason, So, yeah, Charlo wins, he moves on, but yeah, I don't know what they do with him next because if you don't have a planned fight, what else are you going to give him? They're not going to give him Resendiz. Resendiz is not going to be an opponent that Charlo's going to want to take on after what he saw last night.
What?
That's for sure.
Charlo runs right through him.
Yep.
Plant will probably fight Resendiz.
Come on, Eric.
Dude, Charlo runs through that dude. Stop.
No, he does not.
What's up?
No.
Let's put a bet on it. Let's put a bet on it if they fight.
I will.
All right, you can take Resendiz. You're going to take Resendiz. We'll do a podcast.
Right.
You'll take Resendiz.
All right.
Yeah.
All right, I'll take Resendiz in.
Told you. Suckered him right in, son.
And then just on the other fight you guys mentioned, Beck and Fulgham, that was a hell of a scrap between those two guys. I was just kind of wondering what the hell Golden Boy was doing with Beck because ever since he lost to Rosado, they literally had buried him on like the off-TV undercards, and he hadn't been on television. So it was about time they finally gave him a decent fight to get him back on television, and he actually produced. But I mean, honestly, guys, like, who do you think that out of the top 10? I mean, I'm sure he could probably give them a fight, but could he beat them? Who out of the top 10 super middleweights could Beck beat legitimately?
I don't know. That Rosado fight turned a lot of heads, I think. It really did because that, when we saw that, because he should have, the hype he was getting, he was the next Triple G. You know what I mean? That's kind of the hype they were giving. And once he had that fight, man, everything turned. Everything kind of turned. And he may win. He may get a title and everything like that. But he's, I don't know that he's not the boogeyman, put it that way.
No, yeah, he's not. He's a decent fighter, but he's not an elite fighter, in my opinion.
Right,
right. I think
he's definitely
the guys like Billy.
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah, I think Billy beats him for sure.
Yeah, I think Pacheco could beat him. I think Shiraz could beat him. But yeah, I mean he's one of those guys that he's going to be a good TV fighter, but I don't see him being like one of the elite guys in the division for sure. But he might make for some entertaining fights, that's for sure.
Yeah.
So,
there you go.
All right, guys, I'll let you get back to it.
All right, Nacho, thank you so much, man. Let's go to 929. We have enough time? Do we have enough time? Yeah, we got enough time here. 929, you're live. New York.
Eric.
Yes.
I've been meaning to say this, but real quick, but a long-time listener, first time calling, this is Virtuoso.
Oh, awesome.
And I just got to say, man, you got to put some respect on the Resendiz, man. And,
that's what I told Beeb. That's what I told Beeb.
Yeah, right. But listen, man, this is why I'm not a fan of influence fights. These once-a-year fighters are not going to look sharp as they possibly could. Dude, I think it's time for Plant, to go on another maternity leave. Because, isn't it funny enough that his last fight was 9 months ago?
That's cold.
I mean, come on. Hey. What are you doing, man? But like, I just want to say that. Listen, I think he's a really good fighter, but he has a limitation as far as trying to stay alive through rounds 9 through 12, and it's like he's just not there. Because the stamina is just not going to carry him. I think he just went by just athleticism, the quickness, the agility was there, but if Brett is telling you to just manage your stamina, kind of, then I don't think you're long for the sport, man. And I just think Resendiz, I think it was really really good in there. Just warding off his lead hand, changing levels, hitting him hard, and just pushing him back. I just thought it was a clear blowout.
All right,
and I just thought it was a disgraceful.
Let me ask you this.
Let
me ask and I'll pose this to the two of you, okay? So we can all agree. I think we all agree that his reflexes looked like they were there, right?
Yes.
He looked in the first couple rounds. He looked like Caleb Plant,
He looked
right?
quick. He looked good.
Right. He looked quick. He looked good. Is it a motivation issue?
Go ahead.
Because think about it. If you look good and you look quick and there should have been no problem in the fight, right?
I think the longer you do something, the more burned out you become of it. I don't care what it is. Like people say they love their jobs, they love this, they love that. To
me, it looked to me like a motivation thing. And that's what I say, because he should have been able to beat Resendiz. He should have been able to beat this guy.
I mean, if they wanted to, yeah, because look, I think David Sunderland had a card ready for him.
Yeah.
But he just wasn't motivated. By the way, he's a corrupt judge too, just like this guy, Harvey Dock. Just an obstructionist. But anyway, look, I thought he won fairly. Real quick on Charlo. Listen, I think he looked like James the Grim Reaper from The Great White Hype, man. He had his trunk side up, and I'm like, dude, I think he's also due for a loss, man. I just wish they would have made this fight straight away and would have been talking about this fight being in the T-Mobile Arena. There would have been more seats.
But you think about it, Charlo did what he was supposed to do. We knew he was going to win that fight. We knew it was a showcase fight, and that's what he did. You can't really blame Charlo for anything because he did exactly what he was supposed to do, and he showed out.
Of course.
Caleb Plant, not so much. And Caleb Plant started out that well, and he should have finished it that well, and he didn't. And that's where I come to it.
But now the spotlight should be on Resendiz now. I just think he's a talented fighter. He's 168, but there's room for improvement.
For sure, absolutely, man.
All right, guys.
All right, man. Thank you for the call, and don't call back, man. Don't be a stranger. Call back.
No problem, man.
All right, man. Another caller, schooling Beeb. You got to get tired of this, right? Never ends. All right, let's go to the schedule, the upcoming fights here. What do we got? Let's see here. June 6th on DAZN in New York. Brandon Moore versus Stanley Wright, 10 rounds heavyweights. What? Who's doing this? This has got to be a Golden Boy card. Franchon Cruz DAZN. That's a chick, right? Yeah.
Former undisputed super middleweight champ of the world.
Oh, stop it. Oh, get off it. Get off her bra strap already. Satali Ortiz versus Satali Ortiz. 10 rounds for fight. All right, we're moving on. We're moving forward. All right. June 7th. Norfolk, Virginia, son. Title fight. Keyshawn Davis.
I love this fight.
Versus Edwin De Los Santos. 12 rounds for Davis's WBO lightweight title. Easy work for Keyshawn Davis.
Should win the fight, yeah.
Yeah, he's going to show you what you're supposed to do when you got somebody in front of you. Abdullah Mason versus Jeremiah Nakatila. 10 rounds lightweights. That's a good fight.
That's a
real good fight. Like Kelvin Davis versus Nahir Albright. 10 rounds junior lightweights. Keon Davis versus Michael Velez Garcia. 6 rounds welterweights. There you go. June 7th in Ipswich, England. Easy for me to say, right? On DAZN, Fabio Wardley versus Justice Hooney. 12 rounds heavyweights. Dillian White versus the dreaded TBA. Why is he fighting? I don't know. I don't want to see him fight anymore because, and I don't care who they put him in there with, right?
He's being listed as a potential Joshua opponent.
Oh, come on.
I mean, I don't know.
Stop it. And I saw that too.
You saw that, right?
Yeah. Reese Mack says all Eric needs is a dice clay accident.
That's right.
We're talking about fighters. Oh. Virtuoso, thank you so much, my friend. He said, by the way, LaManna doesn't deserve the great moniker Cornflake. He looked actually more like store-bought Golden Puffs. Oh, that's cold. That's cold-blooded, man. Cold-blooded. June 7th in Florida on the Zone. What's going on? How much are you paying for the Zone, babe? How much is the pay for the Zone? $30 a month? Not you, because I know you try to get over on everybody. You don't pay your fair share. What is it, like $30 a month? How much does Robbie pay for it?
I think did it go up from $225 to $250? Let me see what the yearly cost is, because I haven't been keeping.
I don't know. Because on June 7th, June 7th, by the way, Beatriz Ferreira versus Maria Inez Ferreira.
Yeah.
What is this? What are we watching here?
Yeah, so it's $220
lightweight title.
It's $224 a month, but if you do it on a flex plan where you break it up monthly, it's $30 a month.
$30 a month.
That's crazy.
Robbie just said that's a Salida car. Who cares? Are you serious? Why you put that on the Zone? Hey, Robert, since you're listening up, are you going to watch it? Let me bring him in. Hold on. Let me bring him in.
Watches everything.
He's watching. He's watching it.
He's a goof.
Oh, that's cold.
I'm sorry.
Why are you talking like that? Robert, are you watching that card?
Yes.
You're watching those two chicks fight?
No.
He got yelled at by his mom.
Yeah. Okay. Anyway, no, I'm not watching that card.
I love Mrs. Herrick.
What's wrong with Mrs. Herrick? What is she yelling about?
Put some respect on her name.
What happened to Mrs. Herrick, Robbie?
Oh, I don't know.
See, Robbie's paying attention to business.
You know what's going on. Tell us what's happening in the background there.
Robbie's standing on business.
You had the right thing.
Right, get him out of here.
All right, Robert, we're gonna come back to you here.
Get him out of here. He is an utter mess.
He said Robbie didn't clean his room.
Got to take out the trash, man.
It's cold. You're cold, fish bead. All right. Those are the upcoming fights. Nakatani's fighting on the 8th on ESPN. So, yeah, those are the upcoming fights. It is what it is. All right, so look. News and rumors. The Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame was this weekend, and what a great event it was, man. It really was. Heavyweight champion, Cincinnati's own Tony TNT Tubbs leads off the who's who of inductees in the inaugural Ohio Boxing Hall of Fame that took place this weekend in TitleTown, Cincinnati. Cincinnati's own Tommy Ayers, Tim Austin among the inductees, Zab Judah, Darren Schoolboy Van Horn, James Buster Douglas, Mike Tyson, Nate Tubbs, Rob Dula, Larry Donald, and Derek Jefferson, and Jamel Herring. There you go. Those are the lists of some of the inductees over there. Really great event, Beeb. I really wish you could have been here for it. But again, there was no local coverage of it. I didn't see our local TV stations. We're not a boxing town. We're just not.
Shame. It's a shame.
It really is. It really is.
Yeah.
Was there any women going at it? What's the matter with you? What's the matter with you, boxing? Come on, get it together over there. Get it together. Nate Tubbs, and I want to give a special shout out to Nate Tubbs. He also went in the Hall of Fame. He was the person responsible for making all this possible. What he did for Ohio boxing this weekend should have been done a long time ago.
That's great.
And it was very long overdue. So a very special thank you to Nate Tubbs for putting this together. A special shout out to Destroy All Podcast for giving me the opportunity to interview the Hall of Famers at the event. And we'll be putting some of those interviews up on our channel. We'll go ahead and put those up today or tomorrow. Just look for it this week. We got about 3. We interviewed Zab Judah, among others. So there you go, man. Larry Donald. Yeah, Larry Donald was there. So, yeah, there you go. Pocket says Eric is making his own ringside for women's boxing channel on the side. There you go. All right. Ryan Garcia has surgery on his injured hand. So Chris Mannix reported that Garcia first suffered the injury during training camp ahead of his unanimous decision loss to Rolly Romero on May 2nd. Garcia fought like he was battling an ailment as he threw under 20 punches in all 3 rounds. Yeah, he wasn't throwing anything, man.
Yeah.
And it was, I think that both of them were like this lowest output of in CompuBox history on, I don't know if it was the weight class but it was a very low output.
Yeah,
so
it was a very low output.
Yeah, so he had surgery on his hand. So we can't really call it excuses. Clearly he was injured. Why did he go on with the fight though? I don't understand, like, when you're injured like that, why he goes on, because it seems like he has plenty of money. You know what I mean? He has plenty of money. I get it. So why,
Yeah.
And it was a 3-fight headliner. So they could have put Devin Haney in the main event. How would that have worked out? I don't know, but they could have. So there you go. World Boxing. All right, for the Olympics and all the amateur program and stuff like that, the big tournaments, the international tournaments, stuff like that, Olympics, etc. World Boxing said athletes need to take a PCR genetic test to determine their sex at birth. All right, and their eligibility to compete, the organization said. The test, which can be conducted nasal or mouth swab, saliva, or blood, reveals the presence of the Y chromosome. The results will determine the biological sex. So there you go. So listen, now I want to know what is a male, what is a female? If they have an extra chromosome, are they fighting? If they have, because some people have that, and some people are female that have that, or male that have that. So then if you're going to do the criteria, make it whatever criteria you want. But then there's 2 things. Stick to the criteria, no exceptions, right? No exceptions. I think we can all agree on that. Stick to the criteria and test every single person at the event. Every single person has to be right there. Told you to. Got fooled. HLD says he got fooled by sexy Iman Khalif. Hey, she hasn't taken the test yet. And until she's proved otherwise, she's got a gold medal. There you go. Let's talk about, speaking of drug tests, let's talk about Jaime Munguia, Beeb. Jaime Munguia.
He's got the dirty pee-pee.
Yeah.
He does. Pissed hot. Testosterone. Now, Eddie Reynoso, it was testosterone, wasn't it? He got popped for testosterone?
Exogenous testosterone. So
exogenous testosterone. There you go. So you got popped for that. So listen, man, Eddie Reynoso is now on the hot seat, right? Because what is it? Canelo, Oscar Valdez, Jaime Munguia, Julio Cesar Martinez, 6 total fighters under Reynoso tested positive for drugs. 6. That's it.
Yeah,
6 months. That's a lot, man, for one trainer.
Yeah.
Listen, man, that doesn't, I don't care if he handles the nutrition. I know Canelo was talking about, you said that Canelo was talking about the nutrition. I don't care what he handles. That's a lot.
Yeah.
And it's happening on your watch, whether you like it or not, whether you want to admit it or not, it's happening on your watch, son.
Well, Canelo made an interesting statement. He defended Eddie Reynoso, but he also had a suggestion. And you would think that, given the track record, and whether it's, I believe it's probably coincidental. But here's the thing: if I'm training all these guys, and I'm going to take a more active role. I'm going to be like, okay, I want to know. Again, you can't follow them around and stuff, but I'm going to want to know. Like, tell me what supplements you're taking. Give me the list. And we'll get everything checked out. But there's got to be some type of monitoring, because there needs to be some quality control here. Because if all my guys if I have an issue like with all my guys or a lot of my guys, this is happening to, I'm going to try to figure out why it's happening. I'm going to try to troubleshoot it. And if I suspect any funny business is going on, then I'm going to have to cut you loose, walk away from you. Right. Yeah. And this isn't no contamination, trace amounts. This is exogenous testosterone, which is an injectable.
Yeah, they got
which is
him,
more than likely an injectable. So he was doing a little TRT, in my opinion. So
yeah.
you're not allowed to do. I mean,
You're not
you and
allowed
I,
to do that.
you and I can do
can do that.
TRT, but we're not competing in a sport.
Yeah.
But if you're competing in a sport, you can't do TRT. It's as simple as that. So
they used to crack me up when they did the because like TRT is legal. It used to crack me up when they say, well, steroids isn't against the rules or whatever. Yeah, it is. It's illegal. It's illegal. You cannot be caught with steroids, or you would go to jail or face a fine or misdemeanor, whatever it is.
Yeah.
You know,
Steroids are illegal. Yeah,
they're illegal.
The TRT, very easy to get a prescription for that. But again, you can't fight when you're on TRT. It's just that simple. You can't compete. You can't do anything if you can't do anything in a competitive nature. It's on a professional level if you are on TRT.
Yeah, I get it.
It is what it is.
Xander Zayas getting a WBO title shot. We're Bob's organization. Jorge Garcia versus Xander Zayas will happen July 26th. I think it's time. I think he wins that fight, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're not that impressed with Xander. I like Xander a lot. I think he's got a tremendous upside.
I like him, but I'm not 100% sold on him. And I gotta give HLD his credit because he's been high on this guy, and he said adamantly that he believed that Xanders would fight Fundora, and he was ready to do it. And Fundora was actually the one. I was the one who said that they like his team, Xander Zayas' team, wouldn't allow him to do it. But Fundora was the guy that actually went in another direction. So
there was more money. And to be fair,
yeah.
Because I don't think Fundora was like scared to fight him. I just think that there was more money in the other direction. But I thought it would have been a great fight. I thought him and Xander would have been a really good fight.
Yeah.
So yeah,
I was looking forward to the Xander Fundora fight, but I don't hate this Tim Tszyu fight.
Not at all. I think it's a really good fight.
And hopefully Xandez can get the winner of this fight, and it'd be even a bigger fight for him because it'll be a unification.
And I think it's a closer fight than last time. I think Fundora, because I think Tszyu has slipped a lot since that fight.
Yeah, he's had some issues. I mean,
he's had some rough. He's had a couple of rough. That's a good fight, man.
That Murtazalia fight looked like it took something out of him. I mean, I've never seen him hurt like that before. It was a shocker to me, really.
But I'm looking forward to it because it's a great fight, man. Mike McCallum passes away at 68. This is horrible. The body snatcher, man. Such a great fighter back in his day, man. He apparently died on Saturday in Vegas. Reports indicate that he fell ill on his way to the gym. He pulled over and then just passed away, man. It's so awful. Just a truly legend of the sport, already in the Boxing Hall of Fame. Unbelievable. Yeah. Unbelievable.
Sure.
Beeb, you sent me something about boxing coming to Fenway. And
yes.
Chris Mannix.
Chris Mannix is going.
This is on June 7th.
Chris Mannix is a Boston guy. You know that, right?
Nobody cares.
Oh, come on. You got to give him some credit, man.
He's got the dirty pee-pee.
There you go. I hit the wrong button, and I don't care. All right, that's Chris Mannix. That's for Chris Mannix. There you go.
Yeah, you hit the right button for Chris Mannix.
I can't even do it. I can't even do it. What is it?
From Boston.
There you go. The sun's on it. It's not green. All right. Usually the green one is the Boston one. So it's coming June 7th?
I believe so, yes.
Who's fighting? I don't even see it on the schedule here.
They're local guys. They're local. I'll send you the card.
Send me the card. Yeah.
Yeah, they're local guys.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. That's awesome.
Yeah.
Very good. Very good.
Yeah,
well,
I was going back and forth about it, and I got to give him his props, man. I do think Zayas is in terms of Zayas wanting to fight the best and wanting to prove that he is the real deal. I believe him. I believe him. I think.
Let me tell you this. I wouldn't have went back and forth on it at all. I would have just gave HLD his credit, but you had to flip flop and go back and forth and think, man, can I do the right thing? Should I do the right thing? That's all I'm saying.
Well, hindsight is 20/20, as well. and as people like you like to wait at the end of the finish line to pick the winners.
Of course. How else would I do it?
That's not how I operate. That's not how I operate, man. I put myself out there on time and time again. On several occasions, I put myself out there. I'm willing to take the bullets for my fans.
Me and Corey Lee, we never miss. I mean, it is
Corey
we throw it
Lee,
against the wall and draw
you
bullseye
know what's so
after the fact.
funny? Ever since you aired him out on this show about not believing his bets,
Yeah.
every Sunday night, Saturday night, never fails. 1 o'clock in the morning, I get these texts with the bet slips. All right. So this guy is
That's
legit
awesome.
100%.
I don't know that. There you go. All right, guys. That'll do it for this edition of Ringside Reporter. As always, you can catch Joe Habib on X at jhabib1. Find our YouTube channel at ringsidereporter.com and find me on X at ringside73. And guys, we will see you next week.